motherfucker apart. I had to lift the engine up.
This is Adam Brockwell, and I'm making this video to show what's going on with my LQ9 6.0 Vortec Max standalone unit engine that I bought from Jay's Swap Shop. I wouldn't recommend buying anything from them because this engine is useless now. When I got it in, it didn't look like that. It looked more like that, except worse. Looked like it'd been at the bottom of the ocean for about 6 years. It was corroded and nasty. Then when it came in, it had a cracked head. Show you right there. See where it's cracked, leaking into 2 cylinders, and then one of my cylinder walls was corroded so bad it pitted up the cylinder wall, which causes blow by. He sent me new heads. He did make good on that. However, the PCM that he sent me is not programmed right. He won't stand behind it. The engine had broken sensors, a broken starter, broken coil pack, etc., etc. O2 sensor was bad. The water pump's bad on it. It's still leaking as of today. The problem with this engine is when you crank it up, it wants to idle about 1800 to 2000 RPM, which I'll show you here in just a second. And I have it hooked up with the factory fuel tank and pump that came out of the 04 Escalade that this engine came out of. Also the coolant system from the Escalade is right there. I bought all that extra just to make for sure that it's ran right. He sent it to me with the wire and harness was way too short. You see, I had to add pieces in to extend it to make it reach the TPS sensor and the IAC sensor. Just everything about it was a bad experience. I'm $4,500 deep into this engine. He told me it had a 6-month warranty and was turnkey. Every single manifold bolt was broke off in the head, down in the head where it couldn't be removed easily. See, other than that, the list goes on and on of things that was wrong with it. I paid him $3,200 for this engine. It was supposed to have a 6-month warranty and be turnkey, ready to put in the truck. He tried to rip me off on the harness. He didn't send the harness or the PCM or throttle body or mass airflow sensor with the engine. I had to call him on that and dispute it with my credit card. Finally, a month later, I got that stuff in. Then had to wait another month for the heads to come in. And now he's refusing to do anything about this. Let me show you what it does here. Let me hook my battery up. So you'll see how this thing idles up way too high. Anyway, as you can see, I don't have my tachometer hooked up, but it idles between 1800 to 2100 RPM all the time. You can see how it started out idling low. That's because I reset the computer and then you give it about 10 seconds and it idles up to 1800 to 2000 RPM. I've swapped the intakes several times. You can see over here I've bought 3 different intakes for it. There's one. I've ran it with the air duct system and a different mass airflow sensor. It makes no difference. That's about it really. This video is basically just to let anybody know who's looking for an LS conversion to not buy it through Jay's swap shop, because he will not stand behind his work. Won't fix anything. He didn't test this engine. He shipped me the engine straight from a junkyard, and then on top of that sent me the wire and harness through a different company, and the PCM came from a different company. And that's just bad business to guarantee somebody that it's turnkey ready to go, and then when you get it, it's just, you know, after me working on this engine trying to get it right, I've got over $4,500 in it, and it's no good. Can't run it like that. In order to fix it, I've been advised to buy a new wire and harness through a different company, along with a new PCM through a different company. You know, and that's $800 to $1,000 right there, and that's if that even fixes it. You know, with the condition that the engine was in when I got it, with the cracked heads and had a cracked oil pan on top of that. It's over there in that box, but anyways, it was cracked also. Oil filter was busted, manifold was broke, broken coil pack, etc. And he wouldn't stand behind any of that. He wouldn't send me any new parts for any of that stuff. Talked to him last night, and he told me that basically I'm on my own with it. So anyways, again, I bought this engine from Jay's Swap Shop. He's all over Facebook and the internet and stuff. I'm just warning anybody who's looking to buy one of these engines as a standalone setup to put in a hot rod or whatever. Find a different place, you know, find a reputable dealership like PSI Performance, or, you know, ls1swap.com, something like that. Do not buy through Jay's Swap Shop, or you may end up in the same predicament as me.